Hey, Mom. Can you hear okay? I heart Costa Mesa in the house. What up? Cool, alright. This is my boy Phil, Coyote Mustache on the music. He's gonna be jumping on with us around 7:30, kind of talk about creative processes, his being music. Hey, Chris. Get some other people to join on real quick. Yeah, let's make something. Lightning in the bottle. If you're still gathering some materials, get yourself something to drink. Today I'm going to be drinking Still the One. It's a brown ale from Chapman Crafted. As in we're still having fun and you're still the one. I'll be opening that in a second. This is my piece from last week. I'm using everything pretty basic and household. I got cardboard. I attach everything with staples. I've been using images from magazines I have, but I also have some junk mail and some ads. I haven't gone out to the mail in a bit, so a buddy of mine actually commented using old bills. So that might be something. I already have something that first came to mind already with this beer. I'm going to go ahead and get it open right now. If you're not drinking beer, if you're drinking wine, cocktail, regular drink, anything, even if you're not having a beverage at all, I still want you to go through a bit of our beginning descriptive process, and we're going to get that going right now. I like to have a good amount of head in my beer as best as possible. Let that settle for a sec. Oh yeah, look at the color. Not everyone associates brown ales or porters or stouts with summertime, and this is, hi Cindy. This is still a pretty easy drinking. It's still not super thin, and I'll get to that in a second, but I think it's only like 6%, 5.5%, so it's not gonna get me super duper wasted per se, but cheers. Cheers, homies. Those of you that are on right now. All right, let's get describing. I'm gonna go with orange right now. The way the kind of light's hitting on the foam and the head just kind of gives me a bit of an orangey color. So got an orange Sharpie that I'm gonna use to describe. But real quick, here's how my piece ended up last week. Turn that down just a scotch. Finished this one last night drinking New Adventures. It's a golden nitro or nitro golden milk stout with coffee, local coffee as well from Green Cheek, and the coffee's from Portola. It gave me feels of an old coffee shop or coffee shop vibe that we can't get right now. So I tried to find images that made sense, and the backgrounds came from an Eva Mendes photo shoot, and this one happened to come from a Gucci ad from a little pal of a shirt. But look closely, I have another camera over here, by the way. There's an espresso maker that I put in front of over a Jim Beam bottle. That's how that one ended up. But now let's go ahead and get to the task at hand for the evening. So get yourself your beverage, get it ready. And we always start with a chat phase where we're kind of talking to ourselves, and we get into observation and we go over sensory with our beverage. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Hopefully it might connect. For me, I'm making the challenge to have this beverage in some way, shape, or form entirely feed this piece. And I'm working entirely of collage as well, and I'll get to that a little bit more in a second, but let's get going. We're visual creatures. We start off by looking at it. So find a consistent light source. I got a light above me over here. Right now this is just looking dark brown. I can't see through it. We're looking at color and appearance. So this is dark brown. And I want you to write it down because when you write, it commits thoughts to memories. It is intentional. Dark brown, and I can't see through it. It's murky. For sure. So once you look at it, the next thing you do is you smell. We're visual creatures, so if it looks pretty, it tastes pretty. Then we smell. So olfactory senses are like 75% of your taste buds. And so if you smell it, that helps guide what that taste might be. Right now, I can smell the malt, or what I've come to know as malt. I can definitely smell the malty. And also, to me, it also smells usually that flavor, and like English ales and a lot of brown ales. It's almost musty. Kind of like it's hard. May not be so appetizing, but like damp like alley or like basement or something. What I would imagine that would smell like, or like if you first walk into your garage after a while. But it has that little bit of a smell to me. I can smell a little like berry flavor too. In a world of pure imagination. So this is my buddy Phil, Coyote Mustache on the music. Played his new track, and he'll probably play that when he's gonna come on in about a half hour, halfway through, and chat about his creative process with music making. This is a cover of Willy Wonka, the Pure Imagination. It's so rad. This is the full album that he has out, called Dreamer, and got some dope songs. I've seen him twice, but we'll get to him in a little bit. Back to this. If you've looked at it, describe what it looks like. If you've smelled it, describe what it smells like. If it looks and smells like beer, you're still golden, no problem. But this would be brown as an official color to be described. There's straw, gold, amber, brown, and black are the 5 official colors. Then you want to smell. When you smell, it influences your taste. Next, we're going to actually go ahead and taste. So before you do taste it, I want you to go back through that process. Look at it one more time. Smell it if it's been sitting for a bit. Agitate. All those little bubbles are little pops of aroma. So if you want the head, you want those bubbles to be popping. Head retention is a big deal. And then pay attention to how it hits the front, the middle, and the back of your tongue. If you want to close your eyes and look cool, you can. But this has got a little bit of a chocolatey. I think that might be the berry. I don't smell chocolate. I don't think it's got any chocolate. But it's got probably brown malt. And it's not like a toasted level. It's different than like an espresso or a toasted grain in a stout. It's more of the chocolate. I do get that. And sometimes when I eat like dark chocolate, I do pick up a little bit of berry notes, like cherry. I can get a little cherry or a little bit of like a fig note. So I do get a little bit. I can smell the berry, and I can taste a little bit of that berry too. There's a lot of reasons why cherries and other berry fruits go really well with browns, porters, stouts. And so once you've looked at it, once you've smelled it, once you've tasted it, now I want you to do that one more time. But before you swallow, I want you to pay attention to how it coats your mouth. It's all part of the experience. So look at it one more time and give it a smell. Yeah, this one's not super duper thick, and it's not very runny. I'd say it's medium bodied. I know that's not exciting. But that means it's still good for summertime right now. I'm not drinking something super duper thick and heavy. I'm in my 80-degree garage at the moment, so if I start sweating, I apologize. But, yeah, I want you to figure out how that feels. And there's a couple factors. There's There's malts and proteins left in the beer. There's the amount of carbonation in the beer. The beer I drank last week was a nitro pour, so it's got smaller, silkier bubbles for a more luxurious mouthfeel. So that's how we kind of round this out. But this is medium bodied. It's not too thick, not too thin. And this beer right now, I'm going to go into the next part. I have people think about memories. So when I drink beer, it reminds me of other times I drink beer. When I hear music or eat food or see certain art and architecture, it reminds me of other times I've done that. This beer right now is like a little bit of a thicker version of Newcastle. So if you ever had a Newcastle brown ale, it's probably one of the first beers you had if you started drinking beer. It comes in a clear bottle, which is not good for beer, even though it's dark beer. Light pollution skunkifies beer. Even though it's darker beer, it's not generally you don't put it in a clear bottle. It's got a yellow label and a little blue star, but this reminds me of Newcastle for sure. It's just thicker, a little thicker. I got this really long piece today. I don't know if I'm going to use it all or not, but the challenge extended. Compared to the one I did last week, it's considerably larger. If you're just jumping on right now, I'm drinking Still the One, a brown ale from Chapman Crafted. We're still having fun, and we're still the one. The Orleans. I got Coyote Mustache on the music. Search him on Spotify. He's going to be on, or one half of them are going to be on this later on as a guest. But now we've gone through describing this. Normally we move into looking at certain artwork. If you have a chance, usually beforehand, I post a lot of other inspiration and artists I follow, especially with collage, and that's what we're going to work on tonight. I don't know if you got paint at home. I don't know if you got markers at home or paint brushes or how confident you are or aren't. This isn't a step-by-step. I got to remind people of that. You're going to see me real time doing what you're doing and going through some magazines and finding how the materials I have and how I'm going to be able to move those around, cut them, tear them, and make it fit into a composition that makes sense to me, and I'm going to be okay with that. If I finish tonight, cool. If I don't finish tonight, even better. You got time to work. Do you on your own time, boo. And so speaking of other materials, I like to use the stapler to attach everything, or just tape, nothing crazy. But if you saw a post I posted today, or also from my art accounts, I call myself Stamp Pop. It's my art brand essentially. I released a free coloring book, so you can print it out. But if you end up, I'm assuming most people can't print double-sided at home. So there's an opportunity to print out your favorite scene. You can use some of my images that I have even in class, or some new ones you've never seen. This one kind of makes sense for right now. But you can use this, and you can cut them out and use them as part of your collage. So if you don't use it tonight, you're just getting through background and through and concept stuff. But you can go ahead, hit the link in my bio. It takes you to my website. You'll see an announcement at the top of the home page. And you can grab it from my Google Drive right there. Free download. Cheers. Tag me at @_craft and arts or at stamp.pop.art. I appreciate it. But right now, let's go ahead and get this party really started. I want to get something laid out a little bit. Phil's going to be on in 15 minutes. I haven't seen him jump on yet. I don't know if he was able to actually participate alongside. But we'll see if he is able to jump on. If not, then I'm just going to keep going. I grabbed some new magazines, so I've kind of exhausted a little bit of the other ones, but we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to be using this right now, to be honest, for my own personal one, because I think what I'm going to be going with, this reminds me of Newcastle, some early beer drinking fun, hanging with friends and homies. And since it's the lyric, Still the One, you're still the one, yeah, we're still having fun, we're still the one. I think we're going to do something that's going to have something about friendship, or friends kind of coming together, friend and friend. So something with friends. I'm going to write Still the One. Something with friends, something with chocolate, because I get a lot of chocolate out of this, and the color. some with chocolate. And yeah, friends and chocolate. I don't know if I'm gonna find anything specifically Newcastle right now. In my mind, what's coming together is like if I can find something where people are in a hug, or I can find two people that might be posing like a hug or a shake or something. I'm thinking almost like if I can find a Hershey's Kiss like head. I think I'm actually gonna draw that. I might, if I'm able to find, I might use the whole length to be able to like hopefully find something large in the here and here, so it's almost gonna be like something like this. Some were like Hershey's Kisses, and they're hugging or shaking or something like that, and I want to be able to use probably the negative space. And keep it pretty minimal, I think, because those are the main things that are happening. So I talk about composition a lot, and a lot of times if you use the negative space to your advantage and you have a blank, it forces the eye to go to where the space is being occupied, the positive use of the space. So knowing I have something really, really, really long, you don't have to fill that up at all. I don't mind having a little bit of that conflict, but it might strengthen that message if I can find what I'm looking for. But I'm going to try to get some of these images, at least try to find some in real time before Phil comes on, but that's the composition I'm kind of going for right now. It's still the one. I don't know if I physically will write it, but essentially something around friendship. So let's see. I might find something. I got an Anaheim magazine, a couple of these. I might find something. I don't know if it'll be tall enough, but I might find what I'm looking for in here, and maybe people standing. Oh no, it is a bunch of the classes, huh? I don't think the images are going to be large enough in this. Listen to Coyote Mustache. He's going to be on shortly. Philip Yancey's his name. I worked with him at Chapman Crafted for a bit, but you'll hear a little bit more about that. Yeah, these aren't going to have the right size images I'm going to need. New Oprah, maybe Oprah might have something. Oprah 2019, well, not new to this table. I might actually have to build the people to get it to be tall enough or large enough scale-wise. Oh, she's Angelica Schuyler from Hamilton. Yeah, this is Distance. I think this is his most popular song, and this song is so freaking rad. Let's see. I'm looking for something tall. Might have to use only half. I wonder if I find chocolates too. I'm looking for chocolates. Ghirardelli or Hershey's Kiss. Something. No, and then some tall people. The odds of people already in embrace is probably slim to none. But that also might change my orientation a bit. That's tall. Ooh. I'm going to hold on to this all together now. Wait a second. There's this Oprah magazine, but it's got 2 glasses of champagne, so I might be able to do something. 2 glasses of champagne. This also has two seats. Huh. And these 2 together. Yeah, I might need to get creative with the size and scale. What would something like this be for half? Yeah, see, this, I'm not getting full body necessarily, but I might be able to take half the face and put half on one side, like half, and then put another face half, and so it's not the full body, and it's not the full face, but to be able to find a piece of chocolate to be their head, it will be harder to do. Let's see. Westways. Seeing what I'm working with. 721. Phil, you on? Don't think so. Oh, Miguel's on. Dude, thank you for that message the other day, man. That really brightened up my day yesterday. Thank you. If you saw my post earlier this morning, he's the person that had messaged me. He's actually a senior at UCI doing journalism, and he asked to interview. I think we're gonna chat tomorrow more about craft and arts and the awesomeness that is me. So that's the news. Oh, this might be the right scale I'm looking for. I'm gonna go and take that right now. That might be the right scale, at least length. That might work. Yeah, if you're just jumping on right now, I'm drinking Still the One brown ale from Chapman Crafted, and it's taking me back to my Newcastle days, early 21 of drinking age. It's chocolatey. It's a little bit thicker than Newcastle is, but not super duper thick. It's called Still the One, like the song by the Orleans. We're still having fun, and you're still the one. So I'm thinking about like something like friendship or love or embrace, and trying to have basically two bodies, and then two bodies lengthwise have bunch of negative space, and then have like Hershey's Kisses or something. If I can find that, I might have to make. Everyone can recognize Hershey's Kiss, so I might have to find other things in mosaic, little Hershey's Kisses together. Let's look at some Esquire that I've had before. That's long. These two maybe. Ooh, I might be able to cut two out of this. Cut the dude out of the middle. I think those are the length I'm looking for. I think I can probably work with that. Let me see if I can find anything chocolatey. Got a feeling probably not in an Esquire magazine. I think I want something that's not really. I might still piece together my people. These are some more of the similar scale and standing. So I might be able to piece them together. I don't know if I want them from the same. I'm going to challenge myself. I don't know if I want them from the same photograph. Just need to find like pieces of chocolate or something I might be able to use. 724, my boy Phil from Coyote Mustache. He's the music we listen to right now. We're going to chat if he's on, jumping on. Hello. I'm trying to see who that is. I can't read that one. Oh, is that Julius? Yes, it is. What up? Cheers, man. We're still having fun, and we're still the one. The light is hitting the can on that one. Boom. I have another camera over here, by the way, that goes to YouTube. But essentially it's a brown ale, it's chocolatey. I'm trying to, real time, this is not step by step. If you're creating yourself at home, I don't know who this guy is, but I think I might be able to use, he might be a good option. Trying to have two friends in an embrace or handshake or near each other. You're still the one. It kind of reminds me of Newcastle, the camaraderie with early drinking. Beer, Newcastle being one of those early beers. It's a little bit thicker than that. So I'm trying to find some imagery. I think I found the people. Yeah, I got enough. I have enough people. I think I'm good on that. So I'm going to try to find chocolate pieces. That's what I want. Like over the heads are like pieces of Ghirardelli or something, or Hershey's Kisses. That's what I'm trying to think of. I don't think I can find anything here. I might need to get something a little bit. I might find something a little bit out of the box to make that actually happen. Not sure. Hey B, not sure if Phil's on. We'll be good. As soon as he jumps on, we'll be going. But I'm finding this real time. If I don't, I think I'm gonna go ahead and get some of these laid out right now. I'll come back and try to find that needle in the haystack, the chocolate. So I'm gonna challenge myself rather than trying to have it come from the same photographs. I'm trying to see if I want them to be talking or looking at each other. I do like this pose. It was a little bit more dynamic in its full body. Scale wise, see, the same photograph gets everyone the same scale, so they're all the same height. Tyler, what up, dude? And then this one's a little bit taller, so I don't know how well that's gonna work. This is only half his body. He's crouching, but he's too small for this. Might be able to pull. These are similar scale, if you look. Similar scale. I like his pose. I like her pose. Might be able to take that. Their poses I'm not super happy with, so I think I'm going to be over that one. I got foot to head dynamic poses that might still work well. Closely, yeah, closely on here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out real quick, get that laid out so I see Phil jump on. He also may have forgotten, even though we talked yesterday, but I have my phone on Do Not Disturb, so he very well could have tried to text and then I'm not there because I'm with you all. If he doesn't jump on, no worries, but he's one half of Coyote Mustache, which is a band that's on right now. I work with him, with Phil at Chapman Crafted for the year and a half I was there. He got hired shortly after I did, so my entire time there, then doing, I think he had to get let go with COVID right now. Lives out in LA, makes music. His other writing partner is out in Brooklyn, Will, but he might be trying to set up, so he wanted to try to get him on too if he could. Instagram Live only does one person. So he was going to try to get him on like a computer screen in a duo or something. But they host a happy hour with Coyote Mustache on Fridays from 4 to 6. And they put together a playlist. So that's what's going to go on. After I finish Coyote Mustache music, I'm going to play his single one more time, Lightning in a Bottle, which is freaking dope. It reminds me of Prince, a beat with Prince and with a little bit of Peter Gabriel mixed in there. And I've seen Coyote Mustache twice. Once was stripped down. He's still electric, but stripped down with just him and a buddy who was on keyboards and played a couple sax tracks, and it was freaking amazing. And then I saw him with full band out in LA, and it was just like a whole different experience. So take a look, Coyote Mustache. I tagged him earlier in some stories and posts, and I'll tag him again. Speak of the devil, he's on right now. Filippo! What up, homie? I just, let me turn on Lightning Bottle real quick and then request to be on. I see that came in right now. Here's Lightning in a Bottle. Feel. There he is. What up, Phil?
What's going on, man?
Nothing much. How you doing, dude? I got Lightning in a Bottle on right now. Such a rad track, man. It released, what, a week and a half ago? You're thinking right now. I don't know if it's your connection or mine. There he is. There we go. I can see you. I can hear you. How you doing, man? What you drinking? I got Still the One from Chapman Crafted, our alma mater. How you doing? How's your connection? I don't know if it's you or if it's me. That's my mom. Says she can't hear. I turn it down so I can hear Phil if he talks, but Okay. Song's playing back up. Can you hear that? I don't know if it was his connection or my connection. Okay, I see some hearts. I'll wait till he clicks and jumps back on. There we go. So the images I happen to pick resemble my wife and myself in our early drinking days. I just realized subconsciously. Phil, how we doing now? Can you hear me? I can see you. I can't hear you. I heard you before. Can anyone else hear him or not hear him? Yeah, I can't hear you. What the hell? Can you guys hear me okay? Alright, shit. I'll keep going with this until you... Don't know if it's me or him. I don't know. Can you guys hear me okay still? I see we got a new person joined right now. Can you guys hear me okay? Hello? There we go. He's back. You there? Dang, I can see you. I just can't hear you. Son of a bitch. Maybe it's my connection. I can totally fucking hear. I can see you. I just can't hear you. What the shit? I can try to jump off and jump back on. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do that. I'm gonna jump off and jump back on. I'm sorry. Let's do this and let's go back. And now share the story and then live again. Alright, I'm back live. See if anyone jumps back on. Back live. Alright, Jenny, I see you're on. Can you hear me okay? I had to end and then restart. I got a buddy trying to jump on. I couldn't hear him. I don't know if it was him or me or both. Apparently we're just too awesome for live to handle. Let's see who else jumps on. Give people a second. See if Phil jumps back on. Cindy's back on. Cindy, can you hear me? Jenny, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me okay? I had to start back up waiting for my buddy Phil. I couldn't hear him. He couldn't hear me to join. So I ended it and starting it back up. And of course now I'm getting like super duper sweaty at the moment. I'm trying to make it all freaking work. Phil, I see you're back on. Oh shit. There we go. Waiting for Cody Mustache.
Am I in?
Yes, I can hear you. Nice.
We're live.
We're live. We're there. Canopy's playing right now. But I want to say hi before we lose any other connection. Let's get to brass tacks, man. What you drinking? Oh, frozen.
Hey, so I'm actually from
Oh, that Highland Park? Dude, those guys are so
really
good.
good stuff.
Their beer is stellar. Some of the best in LA.
Oh,
If not the.
just making. I think they're one of the best breweries on the West Coast. I'll say it.
Oh yeah,
honestly.
dude. So good. So good. So I had played before Connection went out. I had played Lightning in a Bottle. I shared it again. Dope track, man. That came out a week and a half ago.
Yeah. It came out on the whatever the 24th was. So.
Yeah, that's all blending together now.
Oh man, this quarantine's crazy, right?
I know. But that's kind of what drove you to write the song, right? Tell us about that.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, because as an artist, and you get this, your passion is your art, Your passion is is that creativity. It's that that spark that you just want to follow every day, and you want to pursue that.
Yeah.
And I work in the beer industry or the alcohol industry because I work at a bar as well. And the brewery that you and I used to work at together.
Yeah.
And the bar that I worked at, on the same day, they were like, yeah, we're done for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
And the next day, that was at a Saturday night. I worked my last shift. And, the next day I woke up and was just like, dude, this is crazy. We're living in such a crazy time right now. And I want to capture the moment. Yeah. And I started thinking about, the phrase lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
How it's a dangerous business, trying to chasing after something. You want to capture a vibe or you want to capture a certain thing. And you got to be careful not to forget to be where you are. Yeah. And be in the moment, Oh, yeah. Dude. That's part of
that's fucking beautiful.
Song came from. It was the first day of quarantine. I was like, dude, I'm going to make the most of today. And the song just kind of poured out of me. So it was really fun. It was really cool, dude. I'm really proud of it.
That's killer.
Yeah.
So is that how songs normally work for you? Or is it this one happened to be just really organic and happenstance because of the scenario? It was a moving scenario.
Right.
You lost your job. Everyone's got to stay home. It's crazy. It's not just affecting Phil. It's this massive thing. Yeah. So think songs that maybe for you or something, is that how it normally goes down?
I think there's no rhyme or reason to it anymore.
Okay.
I think when I was first learning the craft of songwriting and learning the craft of even just getting better at guitar and developing my voice, there are certain phases you go through if you're listening a lot to one artist.
Yeah.
Or you're going through a certain phase of life. It's more necessary to cling to one thing and just run with that as long as you can.
Yeah.
And I think now it's more. The fun thing about Lightning in a Bottle is I think where I'm at in my creative process is I really am into capturing the moment.
Yeah.
And so I would say probably maybe a quarter of my songs kind of just I'll open up my my voice memo app on my phone and they just kind of pour out of me.
Yeah.
Sometimes the verse takes a little rough and it's okay, I had to mumble half of the lyrics there. But one or two songs a year happen like that for me.
Okay.
The rest are very intentional, this is how I'm feeling. Okay, so what words do I want to use? Or maybe it starts from a melody, right? Or maybe it starts from an influence, a certain artist that I'm listening to, or Yeah.
You can hear some influences on Lightning in a Bottle for sure.
It's all about learning yourself as an artist, and I'm sure you know this. Craft and arts is an amazing thing, and it's so cool that you get to as an artist yourself, you get to not only lead people through the creative process.
Yeah.
And teach people. but
Yeah.
you're probably learning yourself, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, every time that you teach one of these and every time you lead one of these, you're like, huh,
Something
that
something
was
new.
so different than last week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's something new. Usually, like I know enough about all the materials. They failed at most of it, so I can give you some hints. But there's new shit that people do and think of. They're in the right mindset. They think of it. It's like, oh fuck, I didn't know that. That's rad. I'm gonna now use that and pay that forward. You know. Exactly. So I say often in the class that people get inspiration by talking to people and looking at shit. And so I'm assuming that when you hit your voice memo with a lyric or a certain melody or something like that, it's probably because you heard something randomly and it sparked, like that word sparked something, and then you were in a certain mindset and it went from there and snowballed. So that's what I usually try to create with the beer is how is this moment and this beverage getting you in that mindset to allow for those things to kind of organically happen, and then from there you fit your pieces to make what you want to make. Sometimes you might settle, sometimes you might take forever to push it and push it and push it and tweak it, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny you say that because literally, I actually, about 3 days ago, I was feeling inspired. I've been going through a lot. I mean, everybody has. You know, don't misconstrue what I'm saying. This is a pandemic. Everybody's going through a lot. But there's a song that's been kicking my ass for like over a year.
Oh.
And all I have, and I'm not going to give it away right now, but all I have is a hook and a lyric. And I think it's the best thing I've ever written. But it's not even a song. It's literally, it's like 6 words with a melody and a couple chords under it. And I'm like, this is going to turn into the best song I've ever written.
Oh, man.
And it's been absolutely, like, kicking my ass for over a year.
It's your white whale, man. Like, you're chasing it, man. You're Captain Ahab, dude.
Or Ahab, yeah, not Nemo, sorry.
Yeah.
Captain Ahab, yeah.
Dude, you're the captain now. Oh, man. That is rad.
That's what I try to say to the song, and then I just get slayed.
Yeah.
So I literally rolled a 10-minute voice memo.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I would be trying to open myself up and just kind of like be in the moment and see what I've been meditating on this melody and this chord progression for a while, and it just halfway through it's me just cursing out my phone in the middle of my room, and I'm just like fuck.
Nice.
Why can't I do this?
Well, it's going to feel so good when you get there. Hopefully, it won't be so much of a challenge that you're never going to feel it's complete. Hopefully. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes when you have that kind of challenge, it just feels like, well, this is all I've known is trying to chase this thing, so is it really ever going to be done? And that's always a question for every art form out there. Is it really ever done? When do I cut it off? When do I not overwork it? When do I... whatever. And so, like, my normal class has a time limit. You can still continue at home if you want. That's up to them. But it's a time limit, so it does kind of help with that kind of, well, I'm going to be okay with this. What I'm doing for live, you have the opportunity to still do it on your own time, and you can do the same piece over this, the 7 live ones I've done so far, or you can do it week to week, or not at all. But you have the option. Now time is not a factor, and sometimes that is not good either, because... you're just, when does it end? When does it stop? When is it finished? And that's always the question.
Well, and I don't know, I've heard it attributed to numerous artists and numerous songwriters that I look up to, not like multiple.
Yeah.
But there's a quote that I just love, and it's like, songs are never finished, they're only abandoned. And it's a sentiment of like, specifically for me, it's like songwriting. Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's my art form. That's the medium that I choose to express myself, almost every time.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll know that the song is just right.
Yeah. I agree with that. I can get that.
Right? You'll finish it, it'll spill right out of you.
Yeah.
Other times, you'll toil with it. And the reason I like that phrase, or that saying, like, songs are never finished, they're only abandoned, is sometimes they are abandoned. And it's like, all right, am I going to sit on this for the next 5 years? Or am I just going to, like, discipline myself, set a parameter, right? And this is a cool thing about art. There can be no limit. Anything is on the table. I mean, you know it. I mean, you're literally working with things on the table, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
but it can be anything. No one told me I can't use a fucking stapler.
I can use to finish this.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Exactly.
I believe you have my... Yeah.
Yeah, you're completely right.
But other times it's like, wait, I think I see what this piece of art, whether it's a song, a multi-medium artwork, a painting, collage, whatever it is, a poem, I know where it needs to go, but for whatever reason, I can't get there right now. And I think that's just... ultimately, outside of being an artist, it's an important lesson to learn just as a person. Like, dude, sometimes it's just hard. Yeah. and I think that's why I love songwriting, is sometimes it completely kicks my ass. And humbles me. It's just like, you know, I'm 30. I've been doing this since I was 12. And sometimes you still get defeated by your craft. Yeah,
it's definitely keeping you humble. It's keeping it fun also, so it's not just stagnant where you're just hitting bangers every 2 weeks like no problem. That can probably get old too, I would assume.
Always a challenge, man. And it helps you, you know, a lot of people, I mean, I don't, it's funny, I'm kind of curious actually to hear like how you got into your art. But sometimes it, you know, artists use their art forms as a way to deal with whatever they're going through, or process life, or even just relate to themselves, you know, and help them deal with their own bullshit or whatever it is. So I guess, like, how did you get into your art? So I think it says a lot about an artist.
My degree, as you know, my background and day job is landscape architecture. I love design. I love outdoor spaces. I love the textures and the scale and the way to be able to make someone feel inviting in a space and feel a little bit uncomfortable with some contemporary nature. I love the kind of juxtaposition between the two of those things, but it takes for fucking ever to do. I needed a quicker outlet, and so I was always drawn to photography, especially going through school. We had to do things like that. We had to take art classes and drawing, and so I loved to paint and stuff, but it was things that I never really fully did. And I started painting a little bit more. My grandpa used to do carpentry, so I loved working with wood with him. Not like in a carpenter level. I don't have those kinds of tools, but it was an easy medium that I knew I can actually manipulate the size however I want. I'm not limited to a canvas. I don't have to build a canvas. And I love the texture. So basically, I painted something for our apartment, one of our first apartments, for Tracy and it kind of came out of me. It was something that was stewing in my head, and it was really abstract and contemporary. And if you look at it closely, you get the kind of meaning behind it. If not, it's your interpretation, and I was okay with that. But it was our piece, you know. And but when I got into Stamp Pop, I was literally at Target, and I saw a 4-pack of pint glass, like shaker glasses, and it had each of them had a Beatle, John, Paul, George, and Ringo on there, and it was done in this kind of like pop art style, and I was like, I can do that. I went home, I grabbed a photograph of Tracy and I digitally manipulated it in Photoshop because I had background in doing that with doing layouts for landscape design and shit. And so I was like, let me play around with this. I was like, fuck, that's kind of dope. I started working other photographs, and then the people haven't really seen them, but I have an Eiffel Tower photograph I've taken, Leaning Tower of Pisa, but I realized if I was going to do monuments and take them out of that context of what they're classically known as and put them in this kind of style with bright colors,
spectrum, right? Those are the art forms that you're hitting in that, right?
Yeah, and that's what I love. I love the way that looked and making it look a little bit different and taking it out of its known idea visually. But then I realized, fuck, I'm gonna have to travel, so like I can't afford that. So then I simplified it to objects. I figured everyone can paint Kanye West, but not everyone may find a chandelier or find like beauty in some of the little things that we love, but we kind of take for granted in our daily life. So when you see them now out of that context in a different way, different composition, different orientation, different colors, scales, all that, it does something to you. And at least it does something to me. And my whole theory is that if I like it, chances are someone out there will like it or resonate with either the colors or some element of it, if not all of it. So, and that's the hope, that someone's going to like your shit as much as you do, but it doesn't stop me from creating it. Other things may slow me down from being able to come out and do it. Doesn't mean the ideas aren't constantly forming, or I'm not writing ideas down, or I try to stick to one piece at a time. I know that might be different. I don't know if you stick to one song at a time, but I doubt it. You probably, when another song inspiration hits, you probably jump off and work on that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, creative process is so interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because it really, ultimately, depending on the art form that you're pursuing and the type of person you are, it's going to be completely different, right? So for me, it really can be different depending on the day. I mean, there are some days where I'll start, I'm sitting in my little home studio right now. There's a keyboard right here that I'm sitting in front of, and I got my interface, and this is like my little home setup. I got my studio headphones here to mix on, and sometimes it'll all be right here, right? Yeah. It'll all be like, I need to start with the vibe. I'll need to start with like, I hear like a chord progression, or like I'll hear a melody or a beat, and I'll try to like at least capture some of what's in my head.
Yeah.
Other times it will be a lyric.
Yeah.
And I'll be over on my head and I'll be writing, right? Mm-hmm. Other times, because my first instrument is guitar, and I'll say that it's underrated. I'll say that it's overlooked. Guitar is the best.
Yeah.
And I'll be fiddling around with the guitar, and I'll be like, dude, there's a song. I'm literally writing a song right now. And
nice.
I'll recognize,
Yeah.
So that it's funny that there's so many different ways to go about creating a piece of art.
Yeah.
For me, it's because I also do production for people,
Uh-huh.
It'll be like, oh, this song is just missing. And I think having a confine is important, and then having freedom is also important. And there's a weird dichotomy there.
Yeah.
Creative process. For you, you're to a certain extent limited. Like, okay, what materials do I have? Right? Yep. This is what I have access to right now. But I have unlimited ideas. It could be pop culture. It could be personal. It could be
classic. It could be avant-garde.
Classic, right? Avant-garde. And so I think, man, this is such a great conversation. I love this conversation.
Dude, I know.
Creativity is just the best, man. There's limitation and limitlessness.
I agree, and I think you need a little bit of both, and sometimes it might be a little bit more of one than the other, and I get that, and that's kind of up to your interpretation of how you want it to guide you. I do have a question. Your partner's not able to be on, Will, out in Brooklyn. How is that, being able to create with someone that's not sitting next to you right here, right now? Not just COVID times, but like normal times. I know you've been out to Brooklyn to help record some stuff, but that's not regular. You're in LA, he's in Brooklyn. That's been the last, I don't know, a couple of years, right?
3 years, 4 years.
Yeah. So how does that work, COVID aside?
I think, and forgive my ignorance, I'm not sure exactly how it is with like your art form.
Yeah.
Which I'm just a little bit lost on it, like as far as how it works. But
yeah.
I know with music specifically, you know, a lot of like songwriting and a lot of production it just happens in the studio or in the practice space.
Yeah, as you're just doing, fiddling about and kind of working with shit, right? Yeah. You're in that zone.
And that's a physical space that multiple people are in, right?
Okay, yeah.
And for Will and I, whenever we are in the same place, it's like what happens when we're long distance, but if we were using performance enhancing drugs.
Okay.
I mean, it's literally, yeah, it's night and day. But because of things like technology,
yeah.
I mean, whatever your case is, if you can't afford to I can't afford to fly to New York every weekend. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
I live in Los Angeles, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Like, you learn to adapt, and I think some of that actually has helped us become better co-producers and co-writers.
Oh, right.
You know, he's one of my best friends, and we happen to be in a band together.
Yeah.
Or you know, a duo together. And we've really learned how to put the best case scenario aside and just capitalize on what we do have, which is technology, right? I mean, there are certain websites or certain tools that we have that enable us to like get as close as possible to being in the same room.
Yeah. Okay.
But there is a difference, and yeah.
Yeah. It's challenge for sure.
You know, I've been trying to get to Brooklyn for a while, and obviously, I love Los Angeles actually too. But I think someday we'll be in the same place, and I think we've done a good job with what we've had to work with, and the distance and the time zone change and all that.
Yeah.
But there's something about being in the same room, but hey, beggars can't be choosers.
Oh, true. And you have to creatively navigate that and adapt, like you said. And I don't hear that. I don't hear, oh, you can tell that they weren't in the same room when they created this album. You don't hear that. Right. You know what I mean? But I understand what that could do to the possibilities. You don't know what you're possibly missing from that time, that interaction. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that is unknown. And possibilities are what, like, I think, drive most people, especially with music, especially with art and art forms, is you have an idea and an expression, but the possibilities is being able to play around with stuff. I try to do different materials all in the similar style, even with craft and arts, trying to, I give you so many different types of materials to express yourself, play around, see what works, what you like. Not your average paint night for a reason. It's like, you may not paint at all, paint-ish. So having those possibilities, while daunting, that's what really drives you, man.
Dude, back when we worked at Chapman together, I was a salesman for this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
I
just think that, yeah, that's why art is such an important and beautiful thing.
Yeah. So speaking of art and more art, tell everybody about your happy hours with Will and what you guys started to do with your playlist. I think that's freaking awesome.
Thanks, brother. Yeah. So, and it's actually funny because it ties into the conversation we were just having.
Yeah.
When Will and I are together, or when we talk on the phone, or we FaceTime, there's just this banter and this silliness that exists.
Yeah.
That pretty much from 2016 or 2015 when we met, that's just been there.
Yeah.
And we're like, dude, I think people would love to just watch us shoot the shit together.
Yeah.
Like, because that's how, I mean, when we talk about really serious things, even like final decisions on songs or whatever, we're all over the place.
Yeah.
We're being ourselves.
Yeah.
And they complement each other. And so, you know, when all this shit hit, COVID hit, we were just like, you know, I think it's maybe time for us to really let people into a part of, honestly, our creative process.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing right now. It's a part of my creative process is hanging out with people and just talking and like
rapping, essentially.
And have fun. Loosening up.
Yeah.
Opening yourself up to another person. Opening yourself up to possibilities. To different experiences. And we're like, how can we capture that in a little IG live session?
Yeah.
So the first two were playlists, curated playlists that we made live, and you know, our little freeform. And actually, it was every Friday at 4. We're doing Friday at 5 now.
Okay.
Coyote Mustache Hour, and you could Coyote Mustache on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is. But this week is going to be really. I'm really excited about it because it isn't a playlist.
Okay.
It is literally going to be us actually having a conversation about what we want the live session / podcast to be.
Yeah. So you're live going to be formulating and brainstorming your idea of what live is going to be. Yeah, it's so meta.
Yes, and we have an idea that eventually is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
The idea that we have is eventually going to be awesome, but it's us discussing it and doing a cold trial run.
Yeah.
That we're probably just going to completely fail on.
Oh,
but
yeah.
We want people to see that because it's probably going to be funny.
Oh,
And we're,
yeah.
We're goofy, fun people, you know?
Dude,
So,
I've been on the last two, and it's been fun. I get to just put my headphones in. I'll type in and comment every once in a while. But to hear you guys talk, it is a cool break from just listening to music or anything that Lily's got, like little kid stuff going on in the house. So it's awesome to hear you guys' banter because, yes, your chemistry is amazing. And the playlist you did last week.
Now, man, you know?
Huh?
We miss hanging out. Everybody misses.
I know.
I wish.
And it's that vibe. It's you guys hanging out. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and also cheers, brother.
Cheers, dude.
Cheers,
Hell yeah.
Little mini, I don't know if this is like shit or not, but like mini shout out to the Orange County and LA craft beer scene.
Yes.
Shout out to Chapman Crafted Beer for introducing Chris and I to each other.
Yes.
It's a great scene with a lot of beautiful people.
Right on, man. Filippo, thank you so much. I'm over an hour, regardless of the time in between. This live is still going to go for a little bit more because it got interrupted halfway and started back up. I'm going to get back to my layout, and I figured I might as well take this live through a whole hour. If anyone wants to stay on, they can. If you want to hang on and still chat as I'm doing it, or you can bounce if you need to. I don't want to take up any more of your time. But,
dude, I don't want to interrupt your stuff, though, because I really just love, and I've always loved what you're doing with your talents, you know.
Appreciate that, man.
You're teaching people, which is really important, right? Because, dude, Coyote Mustache, I think it's great, but, like, not everybody does, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But am I teaching people right now? I'm not. Eventually, I want to be doing something like what you're doing. I want to teach people how to write their songs, how to produce better albums, better singles, whatever.
Dude, so you're on the right track with that anyway. Even this discussion right now and letting it insight and inside your creative process, I think is very valuable for anyone that did catch it. I have another camera that's going to be posted to YouTube. It won't show you, but it'll pick up. You'll be able to hear the conversation at least. So I think that's immensely valuable, and it parallels with what I try to say with this art form and my art form, and literally every single art form there is out there. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as a whole. It's a little bit of practice, a little bit of playing around, a little bit of failure, a little bit of I get an idea from here and see how far I can take it, and then a little bit of it's ready, a little bit it's not ready, and then all those things you come out. It's this thing, but how you get to it is up to the artist themselves, and You can do it in 2.5 hours. You can do it in a week. You can do it in a year. It's
free form.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So with this, I'm just trying to get you to get something out there. You're not making the masterpiece right now. You're doing all the grunt work to get to a masterpiece at some point in time.
It's work.
Yeah, so we're just putting in the work right now in sort of fun ways. I guess I never said it that way, but that's essentially what it is. So I really appreciate it, Phil, dude. Thank you so much. Cheers, guys.
Hey,
yeah.
And let's do this. Let's since we can't do three-part, I'll have you on Coyote Mustache Happy Hour on Fridays at 5.
Oh, killer, man. Yeah, thank you.
I'd love to. Maybe the whole hour could just be about creative process, and we'll just kind of switch what we just did.
I'm down. That's rad.
So.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much, dude.
Brother.
I appreciate it. I love you. Thank you. And everyone listen to Coyote Mustache. You can find it on almost every platform, right? I'm listening on Spotify right now. Lightning in the Bottle was the last single. Hell yeah, man.
Deezer. Yeah, cool.
All right. Cheers, dude. Love you.
Man. Let's hang soon whenever this is over, all right?
All right, dude. I'll see you Friday. I'll be on at least. I want to listen to you guys rap regardless. So, cheers, man.
Right away.
All right.
Peace, brother.
Bye. All right. Thank you, Phil. If you guys are still on, I'm going to go ahead and take this still about 25 minutes because it got interrupted halfway. So, technically, this live stream will still be going for 25 minutes. It gives you an hour. I'm out of beer, but I'm going to go ahead and keep going and keep vibing right now. So if you want to stay on, go right ahead. I'm still filming regardless. So, yeah. What I'm drinking, or what I drank, rather, was Still the One. It's a brown ale from Chapman Crafted. Reminds me of Newcastle. Hi, Lil. My daughter, sorry. It reminds me of Newcastle, but a little bit thicker, not as thin as Newcastle is. But it also reminds me of really early times going to bars, being 21. It's one of the beers that ends up being not Bud Light or something more than just a domestic lager at the time. You want to come and say hi real quick? This is my daughter. This is Lily. Hi. Still smell like sunscreen. Hi. Thanks. For the camera. So what I'm doing, it's chocolatey. Reminds me of that time. It's called Still the One. So the lyric, we're still having fun and we're still the one, from Orleans. So what I think I am doing, actually, I found I'm going to have two people. And subconsciously I cut out, basically it's me and my wife. But what I'm trying to find is, because of that chocolatey flavor, I'm trying to, I want to replace our heads with a giant Hershey's Kiss or Ghirardelli chocolate square or something. But essentially two people together, you're still the one. Some of that camaraderie, that friendship, that good times. And you're looking at, it was real time trying to find what I found. I got the images. I like the dynamic poses here. They're about the same scale. So I'll be able to pull them together. I'll probably cut around them. I don't know what I'm going to do for my background yet. I could keep it simple and keep the cardboard, but now I'm going to try to find and or make some chocolate pieces of some kind. That's basically what's going to happen. I'd love to be able to get another beer, but I don't want to leave anybody hanging. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue. I think I already looked in this Esquire. Yeah, I'm going to basically try to find something chocolate related. I don't think I'm going to find anything in Esquire. I have this Oprah. Maybe I might find something that I can make, or find that's a piece of chocolate or something. But I think ultimately I'm gonna have to piece it together, find some silvery chrome looking colors and make it into lint. Yes, chocolates. You see that? Oh, that's glorious. Lint excellence. Yeah. That's something right there. Don't know if I'll be able to, if I can find two. It's definitely a needle in the haystack. But try to find that to be able to put over their heads would be amazing. Chocolate cookies. I said it does kind of remind me a little bit of berry. I can taste a little berry. I associate chocolate, something like really dark chocolate gives me already a flavor of like fig, cherry, like dark fruits. Generally, when I eat dark chocolate, I think is why it pairs so well with cherry and pairs so well with other berries. So maybe if I find the chocolate, maybe I'm just gonna try to find like a giant raspberry or a giant berry. That might work. Oh, here's lightning in a bottle. Let's get this back up. This is the latest single from Coyote Mustache, Lightning in a Bottle. He wrote this on the first day of official quarantine. Ooh, pomegranate, that might work. You see that? And scale-wise, it's about the same size as this piece of chocolate. And it should be able to fit over their heads, no problem. I think I might have found it. I'm going to keep looking through this real quick to see if I can find anything better. But pomegranate can definitely work. That's a similar flavor for sure. That might work. Boom, boom. Lightning in a bottle. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to find anything else. Ooh, this is like a berry pie. Blueberry pie? No. Mangoes? No. No. I think that's it, dude. I think I found it. I'll work on it to see if I find something else to do in the background, but I think I'm going to cut out this Lindt chocolate and this pomegranate over here and place it over their faces. Booyah! So you're catching us in the last half hour of a second live. I had some connection issues trying to bring on my homie Philip Yancey from Coyote Mustache. The music, the one singing right now. I had some issues with connection, so I stopped it about halfway through and started back up. So technically, this live will still be going on for another 15 minutes before it kicks me off. So this session is going to be about an hour and a half. So if you're still with us, dope. I'm wrapping a little bit of this up. Yeah. All right. Maybe too much of a commentary to have the chocolate over her face. Let's put it over his. And then let me make my wife laugh. Let's get this pomegranate out. Yeah, this beat, a little bit of this beat's definitely Prince-ish, and the way it kind of bops reminds me a little bit of Peter Gabriel, and a little bit of his vocals too on this. Phil uses his vocals as an instrument, so he definitely uses like synths. I don't know exactly what the terms are, and like I don't know if it's high fidelity or low fidelity, to have like a lot of reverb. And even live, I've seen him live twice. Once was just him and a keyboard, but he still had his electric guitar, and so it was still not unplugged, but it was stripped down, and it was freaking dope. That was the first time I saw him, but I had not seen a full band, so I got to actually see the full band in LA. And it's a whole different experience, a whole different energy, as you can imagine, but I still did not expect it to be, and it was both. I can't tell you which of the two I liked better, to be completely honest. So take a look at Coyote Mustache. Music is a big influencer for us in our classes normally. I'm going to go ahead and I'll cut that out later on, get closer to it, but oh, dang it. No, I might have to put the chocolate. So the way it's looking right now, this pomegranate opens up. I might need to get rid of this lip right here. I didn't once, and forgive me if I say this incorrectly, this is a little bit of a subconscious, my wife and I didn't want to put the chocolate over the Smoking Hot Black Girl, because it's a little bit too much of commentary that I don't necessarily want to get into. I like to do opposites anyway. But if I put the pomegranate, it's like opening up the other direction. So that doesn't quite work for me. So I want them to be able to like almost talking to each other. So I might need to ditch the pomegranate or cut this part out and see what that looks like. I guess already put it back if I need to, but let's cut it out and see what it looks like. I could also still just piece it together that way where it's back to being almost whole. I think something like that might still work. I think I'm okay with that. Unless I find another image later, but that's basically what that's going to look like, I think. I like that a lot better. I don't know. Things might change. Yeah, I think I might be able to do something like that. Alright, we'll see. So now I'm going to go ahead. I'll clean up around their bodies a little bit later. But I'm still going to see if I can find some other images. I want all the negative space. I definitely like, right now with this, especially with their dynamic poses, I kind of like just that and having all that background. But I don't know if I'm too keen on just the cardboard itself. I might want to find, if I can find white pages and maybe like mosaic in the back, if I can find larger strips of white paper. I have my tracing paper, but I'm trying to use materials that you have access to. If you don't have access to tracing paper, it doesn't make it too super fair or approachable. So I'm going to try, I think I might just find, or I might be able to find like bright yellow or large blocks of color in the background. But right now, as a concept, I don't know if that totally makes sense. This right now hits the concept, so that's almost going to be just a visual thing. Although yellow does make sense for Newcastle. It was a yellow label. It's a clear bottle yellow label with a little blue star. So maybe I do shades of yellow in the background, because that'll make them pop and make the images pop, having to be yellow. Yep, decision's made. I'm going to take this. I don't think I'm going to worry about having it be perfectly clear. I don't care if there's writing on it. I think I'm just going to keep that. So I'm going to keep trying to find some ads or sheets that have large blocks of yellow or yellow tinge, yellow value. And see if I can find that. That's good. I need it to be majority yellow. Let's see if that was in, what was this, Westways by AAA. If it was in one, it'll be in another. Here's got some yellow. Idaho and yellow, but I can take some of that for sure. Sure. Let's find some more yellow. Although, if I wonder if I find a bigger, like raspberry or strawberry or something. No, not quite. Scallops. I have some other Westways. Here's one. Oh, and there's one up here. Let's try this one. Road trip. It's got a buffalo. Such a dope cover of the Willy Wonka track, A Pure Imagination. Check it out, please. Might be able to use the yellow signs. It's about to pick up right here. Your use of restraint fill, if you're still on, was amazing here. There's a block of yellow. So I'm basically using yellow to be able to put behind here. Let me just go ahead and get these going and I can lay them out behind. It's going to be ending soon, I believe, the second live. There we go. All right, we're almost wrapping up right now. Let's see, 21. We're about I think 9 minutes, 8 minutes left. Right now I'm trying to find yellow to be able to use in the backgrounds. I don't care what it says. I'm probably going to put the lyrics upside down because it doesn't really matter. But this piece is essentially trying to be reminiscent of early beer drinking in bars and drinking Newcastle. It's a brown ale. This one's a little bit thicker than Newcastle is. The yellow labels where this yellow is coming from in the backdrop. And if you can see, I got two people right here. Basically kind of a reminiscent of my wife and I early on. We've been together, it'll be 11 years married and 17 years together. So we definitely early drinking together. Newcastle being one of those things. And right now the beer is still the one that I'm drinking right now. Also with the vibe of the title, the title track of the song, we're still having fun and we're still the one. I don't know how many times they sang that tonight. But doing that, drinking that reminds me it's got a little bit of chocolate notes, a little bit of berry notes, most likely the brown malt. So that's where these hitting up. So I'm trying to find yellow to break up the backdrop or them behind it as it goes into the back, into the negative space up at the top. So I might rather than have it be all perfectly cardboard, I might just have actual harsh edges, yellow, in like say the majority of their space, and then another one. I might just find the other one that goes across this way behind their head, and then another one here, rather than have to find the whole thing to color in yellow. Keep the cardboard, but the cardboard will turn a yellowish tinge when it has enough yellow to it, but just enough to make them pop behind it. Yeah, I think I like that. I'll play around with that and see what that looks like. We're going to be calling it soon. Thanks for jumping on, and for those of you that jumped on twice because we got interrupted when we first jumped on with the guest connection. Happened last time with the guest too, so I don't know if it's going to be a thing. But basically I have another live that started from 7:30ish. I started again, which is why this one's being able to go a little bit longer than the overall. It's been almost an hour and a half now. I like that edge there, so I might try to do this one a little bit of a different angle. Something like that, maybe. Can it be? Super janky. I don't know, I'll play around with it, but this is kind of what it's looking like. If you can see that, something like that. I got a pomegranate and a piece of chocolate, some of the flavors I'm picking up out of that beer. The memory of it being You're Still the One, friendship, camaraderie, love, an early drinking of a Newcastle. I got some of the colors there, and I got two people in the dynamic pose, and they coincidentally happen to be the same shades as my wife and I. Yeah, that's kind of what it's looking like right now, which I kind of dig from seeing it at this distance anyway. Whoops. Something like that. So, yeah, it's going to be ending soon. I'm going to go ahead and start saying my goodnights and goodbyes. I might find some other yellow imagery to be able to pull in the back or bands of color. But I think that's kind of where it's going. Remember, the point of this evening, not your average quarantine night, similar to my not your average paint night, is not for me to tell you what to do, not for you to copy what I am doing. This is not a step-by-step. I'm bringing you into my creative process, which is what I normally do, only this time I am actually creating. If you're doing it alongside, fucking that's awesome. If you're not and just watching along and taking it all in, cool. It might get a little boring at times because this is real time. I'm actually looking at the images, for the images, all derived from my beer. I write down with notes. So I'm not telling you how to paint. I'm not telling you how to draw. I'm telling you and hopefully getting you to be able to be comfortable with creating in a creative space. I talked to a musician buddy of mine who we used to work at Chapman Crafted together, and we talked about creative process. It's not much different with every other medium out there, but he does with music. Sometimes he's struck with inspiration and it pours out of him. Sometimes he gets struck by one little thing and he's got to tweak and build around it. And either way, if he wasn't able to go and sit in his little home studio and tweak on the and play on the keyboard or play on his guitar and build things around it, I wasn't able to come play with this stuff or paint or draw, whatever it is. Half the battle is having some of the materials and the times to be able to do it. As you do your candles, yes. So you got to be able to play around and fail and figure out what works, what doesn't work. If it doesn't work for that piece right then and there, put it in the memory bank because it might turn into something later. That's essentially what we're doing here. I'm not going to complete this piece in the evening. You guys, I'm not expecting that to happen either. I'll have this done by my live next Wednesday. That's when I'll be back on, 7 o'clock. And if I also happen to put together something pretty rad I'm pretty proud of. My art brand, Stamp Pop, I was able to put out a little coloring book of all the objects that I've photographed and manipulated and used in pieces over the years. Kind of telling a little bit of a story of quarantine, a story of scenes, from being trapped inside to eventually making it outside, and the things that you might be doing, because I work with objects, like looking at objects differently. One of them actually being a coloring book itself, so it's not totally, it's coloring bookish. It's not your average coloring book, to steal my own saying. But yeah, you can. If you don't have a double-sided printer, then you won't be able to print like a book. But that means you can still print out the scenes you like and cut out the objects that you want to use, and you can use those in your collages as well. So that's available if you go to the link in my bio. It's my website. Or if you follow my art account, stamp.pop.art, you can find it, a link in that bio too. I have it on both websites that I have. And so as soon as you click on the website, it's a banner at the top that has a link to Google Drive, and you'll be able to pull it. So it's a super duper roundabout way, but it's free. And tag me at _craft and arts if you end up coloring in it, or if you're making anything, or tag stamp.pop.art. And then if you end up working further on these, on your collages, I work with collage because you can really get in there and move things around and play and test and see what you like or don't like with other images without spending too much time. It really does drive the creative process home, and that essence of playing without having expectations of it looking so immaculate. If your paint stroke isn't perfect or you went outside the line, you develop the lines here, so it's no big deal. But essentially, that's what I'm doing here with with collage. But you can paint, you can use thread. I got some homies that are using thread through photographs. Get crazy with it. It's a crazy time. This is your chance to be able to play and do whatever the fuck you want. And you make the rules. You define what good means. And hashtag not your average quarantine night. And tag me at _craft and arts. I'm Chris. I'm the head dude. So cheersies. Thank you so very much. We're at an hour and a half on my other camera here, which means this is probably going to end soon. But I'm going to go ahead and end it right now because it's hot in my garage. I'm hungry. And I think I'm good at where this is going to be at for a bit. I'm going to come back and look at it a little bit later. Cheers, guys. Thank you so much. And Phil, thanks for jumping on, man. I really appreciate it. Oh, yeah, it's got 2 minutes left. Coyote Mustache is the music for the evening. And check them out. Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff. All right. Cheers, guys. Thank you. Bye. Bye.